Okay guys, let's start the class. So guys, this is our lab and today we are going to learn about the user ID, like how we can create the user. Like in our office, sometimes what happen that some guest would come, okay? And in the scenarios like I want that any user, okay, any user if going to internet, okay, if going to internet, he has to, like if he going to the internet, he has to log in, okay? He has to log in actually, okay? Log in with their credentials, okay? So whenever, if any user is there, there is a user, this is my firewalls, and this is internet. So if this user want to go internet, he will get the page, but he has to be type the credentials, his username and password. Then only he will get the access of this facebook.com, youtube.com, whatever it is. He will get the access then only once he log in, but it's a one-time login only, okay? So we can see how our one user, any of the user, if I will create such kind of a user, okay, so I will use a captive portal, okay? I will use with the help of captive portal, he will get a some like a web page. Whenever he will try to get access, he will get a web page login credentials, okay? He will get a portal of authentication and he has to be authenticated by his username and password. Then only he will get the access of the internet. So that's what we are going to see how we can achieve it, okay? So let's see, let's come to the lab and we can see that this is the same lab. Meanwhile, what is the condition of this? Okay, this one looks good. This one good. So let's log into this. Okay, so what we are going to see that, guys, today we are going to see that how with the I'm going to create one user ID. With the help of that user ID, we will use some captive portal, and with this captive portal, whenever that particular user try to access internet, he has to be put his credentials, then only he will get access to the website, okay? But it's a single sign-on, only one time, okay? We'll see that how gonna happen, guys, okay? So for that, we need to go to the device, okay? And in the device, we need to come below and come to the user. See that, guys, local database user, okay? In the local database user, we have to go to the user. So I have created earlier it as user 1. I'm going to create for user 2, okay? User 2. Okay, so this is the mode, password and password hashing. Hashing like just for the authentication, right? MD5 SHA, so those are for the integrity of hashing. So if you can either select this and give any of the hashing stuffs, okay? Both side has to be same. So we are not going to use hashing, just because if you create an user, we need to share the credential with them. So we'll share the password, right? So this is the username user 2 and the password, just create anything like I'm going to create same thing, test@123. This is a password, okay? Test@123. So I have just created the one username, okay? At the where this user is not the administrator, right? Yesterday, whatever I explained, that is for the administrator. This is a user I'm creating for the local database, okay? Local user database. That user with these credentials, user will see that what they can do, okay? So I'm just created one local user. So guys, like with this user, we can even create like objects we are creating, right? So that's also we can create the users and credential and assign the credentials as well. And we can give the access of, like in the security policy, with the help of like in the security policy, we can create the source IP, destination IP. But instead of source IP, if you want to create, give access by the user ID, we can give that, guys, with the same username, okay? Here, guys, I'm going to create one user group, okay? Like we can create even the multiple user group as well. So in the group, what is group, guys? In the group, we can add multiple users. Okay, just for the example, we can create user group 2. Okay, just okay, this is a name, and in the user group 2, I can assign that user 2. Even like I have created earlier user 1 as well, I can assign, like just anything, and multiple user you can assign it. Okay, so just now I have created one user, and in the local user database and user group. So in the user group, whatever I have created, we can see that local user 2 users is there, part of this group. Okay, so that's how we can create the users and user group, guys. If required, you can create the users and user groups for the office employees. Okay, and guys, once the users and user groups will created, we need to go to the authentication profile. Like second step is we have created the user, but how they will authenticate? For authentication, we need to go to the authentication profile, guys. See here. So in the authentication profile, guys, that is very, very important. Even for radius authentication, even for LDAP authentication, this authentication profile going to be help. So we can see that, guys. Type add. Okay, give any name like auth profile 2. I'm going to give auth profile name is 2. Okay, because I've already created one. There's a two things, guys. How the user will authenticate it. Okay, authentication. There's a 3 tab. One is authentication. Type is, if you click on type, you will understand local database. So I have created the user in the local database, right? So here we need to select the local database. If you have a radius server, okay, if you have a radius server, you need to create for the radius. If you have an LDAP server, guys, okay, we don't have here the LDAP server. If you have an LDAP server, you can select the LDAP server. So that user actually, and then you can provide the server profile. Okay, we need to create the profile as well. So if we have a LDAP server, guys, we can integrate the LDAP server as well. If you have a TechX server, guys, so we can get the TechX server as well. We can see that how we can do. Okay, so here we are using a local database. Okay, local database. User domain, keep it like this. Everything user modifier, whatever, keep it like this. Single sign-on, Kerberos Realm, this is not important, nothing. Just choose the type local database, because I have created the user from the local database. If you have a user from the radius server, LDAP server, TechX, we can select those then. Okay, how their authentication. They will authenticate from the radius, or they will authenticate from the LDAP, or they will authenticate from the TechX. But here I have created a user for the local database, so they will authenticate from the local database. Local database means what? My firewall. Okay, they're from the my firewall itself. Okay, if you have some external server radius, we can see that I will explain the radius. Okay, or TechX or LDAP. We can see what is the factor, guys. If you want to enable 2-factor, what is, like if you want to go for a Google or authenticator, Google authenticator, Microsoft authenticator, we can do that with the help of multi-factor authentication. But we are not doing here. But we can do the profile name, certificate profile, MFA vendor. Okay, like which MFA vendor you are choosing, Okta, Ping, RSA. RSA is for what I can say that RSA is for authenticator. Okay, so these are multiple things are there, guys. We can integrate dual factor as well from the factors, guys. Okay, but here we are not using this. Now come to the advanced, guys. In the advanced, so authentication, we have selected the local database, guys. But in the advanced, guys, we need to select what we need to select, guys. Come here. Okay, so in the advanced, guys, we need to select the user. Which are the user actually going the part of this authentication profile? Okay, so if you want to give for only for the user 1 or user 2, or even if you select all, by default, if you select all, if you created 100 of users, those all are going to be part of that. They all are going to be authenticated with this local database. Okay, even if you want to select user 2, even if you want to select user group as well, like we have created the user group 2, we can create. Okay, so advanced, we can give the allow list, which are the user will be authenticated from this local database. Okay, so that's how we can create the authentication profile, guys. Okay, let me delete this one, otherwise it will not take. Yeah, now okay, so that's how we can create the authentication profile. Once your authentication profile created, guys, okay, now we need to go to the user identification. Okay, come to the user identification, guys. This is very much important, guys. In the user identifier, there are multiple things. We need to go to the captive portal, okay? Because captive portal only give me the access of whenever the user will log into that, okay, to the website, it will give me the authentication portal. So guys, this is enabled by default, okay, but it is by default, it will be disabled. So we need to enable it, okay, enable captive portal. This is a by default timing, ideal timer 50 minutes, it is a timer 60 minutes, global protect network port or inbound. This is their port 4501, okay. There's a two type, guys, transparent mode or redirect mode. If you choose the transparent mode, what happen, guys? So it will not, if you choose the transparent mode, that's fine, you can do that. Either if you select redirect mode. So what is the meaning of redirect? So whenever it will, if you select the redirect, what would happen? Whenever if any user try to use a facebook.com, guys, anything, it will redirect to my this interface, okay? Which interface IP you want to give? Okay, like I am giving the my Ethernet 1/1 interface. So which IP it will redirect? It will redirect to that IP, redirect host. We need to assign the IP from which IP it will redirect. So whatever the website users going to access, it will redirect to 172.16.1.100. Okay, so in the office, if you creating this captive portal, guys, always give your inside interface where user are belonging. If user belongs to the inside zone, give the gateway or directly connected interface of your firewall IP. So they will all the time redirect to that IP, but that has to be internet access, right? Because this zone, my inside zone has an internet access. Okay, so we need to give the IP of the interface which have where user is belonging, okay, and that also have a internet access. So here, this is the captive portal, guys. I have enabled it. These are the by default timer value. Keep it like this. There is a redirect. Always go for a redirect. If you don't go for redirect, you can choose even transparent. Transparent means it will not go for the redirect. It will directly ask for the username and password. But sometimes it
redirect again.
Okay, so redirect, it means what? Whenever I try to use any facebook.com, okay, whenever I try to use facebook.com, what happen? It will move the traffic to my this IP. This IP is what, guys? My interface, inside zone of my firewall interface. It will all the time move to it will redirect. It will, whichever the website you will use, it will move to my Facebook, my inside zone of my this interface, inside zone of interface firewall interface IP. It will redirect means what? It will, whatever the website you will use, it will redirect to this IP. We will see that in the example. Okay, so that's what in the redirect, always choose to redirect, guys. Okay, so here is a redirect host. Whenever the user which user I have created, he will try to access any of the website, it will redirect to this 172.16.1.100. Why? For login, because for authentication, this is what my purpose, right? User has to be authenticated, so it will redirect to this host, and then user has to be authenticate by his username and password. Then it will get the access of these websites. Okay, that's the word, guys. So that's, we need to follow that. These are the authentication profile, guys. SSL TLS service portal, guys. Okay, that keep it if you want for the encryptions, those things. If SLS profile, keep it none. And here we need to select the authentication profile. So which I have just now created the authentication profile too, right? We need to select that profile. So here in captive portal, because the user should authenticate from which profile? Auth profile just now we have created, right? So this is the captive portal, how we can create the captive portal. Okay, if you want to go for a certificate, like if they will have some certificate profile, we can select here as well, but we don't have any certificate for that. Okay, let's see how it can happen. Type okay. So now, guys, what we have did, I have created the username and user group. Then second, I have created the authentication profile. Once the authentication profile created, I have went to the user identification, like I want to identify the user, how they will log in, and go to the captive portal settings, and there only I have assigned the authentication profile and let the device know that it should go redirect whenever user try to access first time of any website, it will redirect to my inside connected firewall interface IP. Okay, why? Because it has to be login. Okay, so guys, now this is a very important, guys. Then I have to go for, so where we have given, guys, we have redirect where, guys? Captive portal we have given for inside zone to redirect, right? Guys, one more thing, if the user suppose belongs to, so like guys, just now this is my firewall, this is internet. Okay, what I'm explaining, suppose this user belongs to here. Okay, what the user I have created, this is my interface IP is 172.16.1.100. Okay, this is inside zone, this is PC of the user is 172.16.1.1. this user, whenever if he'll go any website I mean, like facebook.com. Okay, so first time in the captive portal we have configured that first time whenever user try to access any of the website, first time what happened, it will redirect to my this wherever it is connected, right? That connected interface IP. Okay, it will redirect to, but that IP has to be internet access, guys. By default my inside zone has the internet access, right? According to the lab. So that inside zone has to be internet access, and it will redirect to this IP. We'll see that what is called redirect. Once it will redirect to that, we will get the one portal where user need to provide his username and password. Okay, once he will provide the username and password, then only he will able to get the access of facebook.com. Okay, this is what I want to explain. But one more thing, guys, instead of just I want to explain, instead of inside, this is IP is 172.16.1.100, right? This interface, like there is a one more zone, DMZ, and the user belongs to here. User IP is suppose 172.18.1.1. Okay, 18 dot, and this IP is called 172.18.1.100. 18, right? Not 16. Okay, different subnet. So if user belongs to here, so when I have to create a captive portal of this user, where which IP I will give for the redirect?
172.18.100.
Okay, but make sure this DMZ has to be internet access. Then only it will work. Okay, your DMZ has to be internet access. Then only it will work. Got it, guys? So if suppose user belongs to this DMZ, okay. So for the captive portal for redirect, I will give the directly connected gateway of directly connected, which is the interface IP of a firewall. I will give this IP as a redirect. Okay, we will see what is the meaning of redirect means what, guys. If any user try to access facebook.com first time, instead of going to facebook.com, it will go to the HTTPS and this IP 172.18.1.100. Anyway, it is not going to open anything, but it will give me that captive portal username and password. This is meaning of redirection here. It will ask the username and password. Once he will put the username and password, then it will go through the facebook.com. Got it? What is the meaning of redirect here? Whenever he try to go for any website, he will go for this, whatever the IP I have given for redirect, it will move to this redirect, and this, once it will move for the redirect, actually it is doing by my firewall only doing. Okay, and it will give me one username and password as a portal. We will see that. Okay, so guys, make sure your whatever the zone it is, that zone has to be internet access. Like here in the inside, my inside zone has the internet access, right? Same time your DMZ zone has to be internet access. Okay, now come here, guys. So once your captive portal done, as why I'm explaining that which zone that user is belonging and which IP I have given for the redirect in Ethernet 1/1, right? So guys, make sure that IP I need to enable something. So I have given one management profile ping, right? So how to create a management profile, we know that, guys, but there is a shortcut also. We can do it from network interface. Okay, if you go to the network profile, network interface, guys, we know how to create those things, right? Like if any of the interface you want to do HTTP, HTTPS, telnet, SSH or ping, so there even from that side we can do, go to the interface management, from the network tab, interface management, we can get it. So guys, actually my what I want to do, actually, come here, guys. In the interfaces, in the Ethernet 1/1, which I have given for the redirect, this is a management profile as a ping already I have created and there. Okay. Now come to that only ping. What I want to show, this ping already created. If you want to create other one, you can create. For this captive portal, guys, these two, response page and user ID, has to be selected. Okay, response page, user ID and response page has to be selected. Then only this captive portal will redirect and give me the portal for authentications. Okay, guys, understood? This response page and user ID. Okay, these two has to be checked, enable. Okay, then only it will give me that page. Okay, type okay. That is already is there. Now after that, now we need to go to the object. Okay, we need to go to the object, guys, and at the object, guys, we need to go to the authentication. If you come below, like I want to create the authentication, guys. Okay, so in the authentication, these are by default web form, default browser, default. These are by default. No need. Okay, this one I have created for my previous class. No need. In the authentication, guys, you need to create add, and you need to create one authentication. This is profile name. So just give the name new profile name, new profile. Okay, new profile. And what is the authentication method? We need to see that. So authentication method, we need to check always web form, because we are trying to access web form, browser based, facebook.com, whatever, youtube.com. If web form, we need to select. Okay, and which authentication profile, guys? We have created one authentication profile. Which one I have created? That one we have to select it. Authentication profile 2. That is okay. Got it, guys? I have just in the authentication, we have to just give a name, choose the web form and the authentication profile which I have created, or profile 2, just select it. Okay, that is done. Okay, now that authentication profile is bind to authentication, new profile. Okay,